Hi, I'm Landon Doctor, a student in History 101 FO2X in the fall 2021 semester at Muskegon Community College. I'm going to be doing my narrated PowerPoint on the construction of the Parthenon. The Parthenon had been constructed during the golden ages of Athens. Athens had been sacked by the Persians led by Xerxes in 480 BCE. Within 2 years, they had come back to defeat the Persians in 478 BCE. After the First Persian War, the citizens had voted on whether or not to rebuild the Acropolis. During this time, Pericles had come to rule. Pericles ruled from 460 to 425 BCE. During his rule, there was great economic flourishment in the city-state of Athens. The Parthenon had been constructed within the Acropolis at Athens. An acropolis is a series of temples and structures on a high hill. To Athens, the Acropolis was a religious center and a showpiece to the rest of the world. The Parthenon was built on top of the tallest hill in the center of the Acropolis. The first stone had been laid for the older Parthenon in 490 BCE. In the middle of its construction, in 480 BCE, the Acropolis had once more been invaded by the Persians. The Persians had completely sacked the Acropolis and destroyed the unfinished temple of the older Parthenon. The first stone had been laid for the older Parthenon in 490 BCE. In the middle of its construction, in 480 BCE, the Acropolis had once more been invaded by the Persians. The Persians had completely sacked the Acropolis and destroyed the unfinished temple of the older Parthenon. Much less well known than its successor, the older Parthenon's construction had been ordered by Pericles. It was to be made from 20,000 tons of marble, which would have made it the largest building of all marble at its time. It was constructed using 3 different units of measurement, which were kept track of on Solomon's stone. It has inspired many modern-day building designs, such as the White House. In this picture here, it shows the older Parthenon in comparison to the scale of the new Parthenon. Following the First Persian War, the Athenians wanted something to show their power and pride to the rest of the world. Pericles came up with the idea of an even grander temple than the last. The new Parthenon was to be built to scale with the older Parthenon. An 1888 expedition discovered that it was constructed with a 0.03% margin of error, which was incredible for the time. 2 years of careful planning had gone into the idea of the Parthenon. The reconstruction was led by a star-studded lineup of officials. First, Ictinus, one of the greatest architects of the time, was appointed chief architect. Next, Callicritus acted as contractor and technical coordinator of the project. Phidias, who was one of the greatest sculptors of all time, was set in charge of integrating artistic elements in the Parthenon. This great project was constructed in an insane time of just 9 years. A major focal point of the Parthenon was its great artwork. As soon as you entered the building, you were met by a massive statue standing at 39 feet or 12 meters tall. This statue is called Athena Parthenos, and is of the Greek goddess Athena, the goddess of war. It had been sculpted by Phidias and was made from a shell of gold, ivory, and jewels, which would have amounted to millions of dollars in the modern day. It had been under construction during the full 9-year period of the Parthenon, and in her right hand she holds Nike, the god of victory, and in her left hand she holds a shield covered in images of men fighting centaurs. Centaurs were half-man, half-horse hybrids. It is interpreted today that these centaurs were representing the Persians. Some other artwork found within the Parthenon was the South Mesotopes. These were statues engraved into the walls of the south end of the building, which depicted battles between men and centaurs, just like the shield of Athena. You could also find the pediments. The pediments were a series of statues, originally around 50, that had been located within the arch above the entrance to the Parthenon. Today, only 11 out of these 50 statues remain.